I've seen lots of people suggesting that the newest Apple TV remote redesign was kind of lackluster because it wasn't rocking the U1 chip. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a pretty big fan of AirTags, and I want that Find My, feature to get to more devices. Like Apple Watch Series 6 has the U1 chip. How come I can't pinpoint myself down to it? Any U1 device would be great to have AirTag-like features, and I hope that does come with time. But in today's video, I wanted to briefly argue as to why I don't think that the TV remote is worthy of the Find My network, and that there's probably a better solution as to what to do when we misplace our remotes. Let's begin. So I'm not trying to make the argument that no one loses their TV remotes. For the record, yes, that was one of my biggest complaints of the last generation Siri Remote, is that thing was thin and it was dark, which meant that whenever you were watching a movie late at night and, you didn't have much lights on, it would slip between the cushions of the couch very, very easily, and because of how dark the front of that thing was, it was difficult to tell what the proper direction of holding it was. That's why a few years into production, they added the little white ring around the menu button, which kind of helped, but it was still pretty hard to tell in the darkness. But I'm still very happy that Apple decided to update the new remote all aluminum, which makes it painfully obvious, even in a dark room, where the remote is, and because it has that big circular trackpad at the top, it's very obvious which direction you're supposed to be holding the thing. And it also appears to be much, much thicker than the last generation Siri Remote, which is not typically something Apple does with their year-over-year improvements. They're like, actually, we want this remote to be extra chunk. So just the design in itself is an upgrade, in my opinion, in regards to finding your remote and tracking it down. But I agree, even with a thick remote like this one that's silver and aluminum and easy to know which direction to hold it in, we're still gonna lose it. We're still gonna misplace this thing. But the Find My network for AirTags and iPhones and stuff makes a whole lot of sense if you're gonna be taking this device with you, I think. That's the whole purpose of AirTags, is attaching it to something that you take outside of the house, whether it be your keys or your backpack or your briefcase. Those types of things, I understand wanting to take advantage of this vast, expansive Find My network, because there's so many iPhones across the globe that are going to be able to ping that device and let you know where it was last detected. But the TV remote, I'm sorry, even though it's battery powered and stuff, it's pretty much always just going to be near the Apple TV itself. It's going to be on the couch, it's going to be around the house. Okay, I'll admit, on occasion, I have taken remotes with me into different rooms, and that has confused me a couple of times. When you have those kind of late nights and you check the fridge and the TV remote's inside the fridge. No, that's just me. Okay, moving on. My point is, the Find My, ultra wideband feature of like turning your phone into a compass and it tells you exactly what direction your device is in, is kind of gonna be overkill when we're basically just leaving this thing in different types of the house or leaving it stuck within the couch, which is why the U1 chip is great and all, and I don't exactly know how expensive it is to incorporate the U1 chip, but I'm happy that this updated remote that still has a microphone, still has a trackpad, now has a power and a mute button, is still starting at $60. I think that's actually a pretty fair price, and I'm okay with Apple, leaving out things like the U1 chip to make this remote as cheap as possible. They're also leaving out the accelerometer, the gyroscope. In order to get that Siri remote down to a reasonable price, they should leave out stuff. The one thing that I agree probably would have been a smart addition, though, is a tiny, low-powered speaker. I have no clue how expensive it is compared to the U1 chip itself, but the AirTag speaker is not very complicated. It can only play a certain number of pitches at a certain tone, and I don't think that it would be used often, but if you could call out to Siri or use your phone to say, hey, ping my TV remote, so that you could just hear that little chirping sound, I think that would be enough to at least track down exactly where in the house the remote is, or track down exactly where in the couch the remote has been lost. I don't think that the whole Find My experience of holding the phone near different devices and seeing the radius of the distance of your devices get smaller and smaller. I know that it's cool and it makes for great demo. I certainly love playing around with the AirTag Find My feature and everything, but humans typically are pretty good at doing that subconsciously just by hearing a sound. And I know that one of the biggest selling points for the Apple Watch for me is being able to ping my iPhone near the end of the day, or when I've left it in a different room and I'm just not sure where my phone is. Just being able to tap that, and throughout the house I can just hear this little pinging sound in the background. It suddenly becomes a million 1,000,000% easier to track down exactly where the phone is. And because the remote is not something that leaves the house and it pretty much stays in the living room or near the TV in general, I think a speaker would have been a cheaper, easier solution than the U1 chip, which I have a feeling is just a tad more expensive or a tad more complicated than just slapping in a tiny little speaker that doesn't have to get loud, doesn't have to play music or anything complicated. Just a very basic speaker. I know some of you are probably envisioning, what if we made the speaker in the Siri remote really good so that you could have PlayStation or Xbox levels of immersion when playing games on... Okay, stop. Apple tried to make the Siri remote a gaming device and it didn't work out. Okay, so we just need to give up on the whole Apple TV gaming aspect and admit that, yeah, some of us lose the remote sometimes, but personally, speaker, I would agree, would be fine. U1 chip, a little bit overkill, although if they find a way to incorporate the U1 chip in the future and it's affordable and cheap, obviously I wouldn't be against that. Some people are hard of hearing and the speaker wouldn't really be a good solution for them, so having the little Find My feature similar to the AirTag would also be appreciated if they can do it in an affordable way. So I'm curious if you guys have different solutions. Are you gonna 3D print a case for your Siri remote that attaches the AirTag to the back of it? $29 on top of the $60 for that remote. You're looking at a $100 remote, but you are not gonna lose that thing. Even if it falls in your backpack and you take your backpack to college and leave it there, you're gonna find out exactly where you left that remote. So thank you all for watching. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you guys in the next one.